Grace to you and peace from our Lord and Savior Jesus, the risen Christ. Amen. The human brain it's faster than any computer that's ever been put together, and it's more nuanced. It takes so many things into consideration, and it makes choices. This or that. Okay, now this or that. Kind of like going to the eyeglasses doctor and decided this one or this one. Same thing. No, choose one. Just choose one. The B. All right, B. All right, how about this one or this one? The whole time you're thinking, God, I'm answering wrong. I know it. I'm going to end up with these Coke bottle glasses, and my eyes are going to get worse. And I want to second guess. Can we go back to the last one? No, just do this. We're always making choices. We're always comparing, which is what's happening in this story. What's so wrong with that? We have to compare, right? You have to decide. You know, it's about 30 degrees outside. Are you going to put your coat on or not? Got to choose. And usually once it's 30 degrees or colder for a while, there's not much choosing. You don't even think about it. But every once in a while you come upon a day when it's been cold for a long time that's 50, and here you've bundled up with your coat, and it's like, God, I should have known that before I went out the door. I would have chosen differently. So you're always choosing, and you have to. The yellow light coming up, what do I do? What do I do? Well, am I late? If I'm late, I'll speed up a little bit. Is there anybody around? Is it rush hour? So many things come into play. Nothing wrong with that. But the problem becomes when all we do is rely on the information that we think we have and we think we know best, or it shuts us off from being human in a real human way, which is not about choosing at all, but feeling, right? So we just stay in our choosing brain, choose. And it's Reformation Sunday. It's Reformation happens all over the place in different ways, but it's reserved for Martin Luther. The whole era of the Catholic Church being corrected, kind of a direction correction. And Luther never wanted to be a Lutheran. In fact, he didn't even start the Lutheran Church. He just talked about the corrections. You've chosen wrong because you add things up. You choose who's better, who's more righteous than others, and we have to beat ourselves until we get right again, or if we fit into the bigger middle. It's Reformation. So choose. What are you going to be? We're always doing that. And it can be innocent. Pam Schweitzer. She's one of the worst. And I know because I stood right next to her in the garden on Friday. Yeah, I'll take the brush to the brush pile. I'll show up with the trailer, which meant the day before I had to empty all these trailers that I've got full and haven't emptied for months. So Edie can be happy because I want to be righteous. And I've almost given up with Edie, at least. Just no hope. I'll never be clean enough. Look at this hand. That hand is as clean as I can get it. I'll tell you what I was doing with that hand in insulation that you're not supposed to touch. Wear gloves at all costs. Almost a week ago. I'll never be clean enough. But there we were, Pam and I, out on the side of the garden, and we're pulling all the brush in there. And oftentimes get it from your daughter's place too. It's loaded up, and it's all right. I'm used to not worrying about what gets in that trailer, whether it's leaves or whether it's wood, whether it's branches. Because when you get to have you been to the yard waste? Who's been to the yard waste? You pull up there, and you get to the yard waste in Midway, and you back up, and first thing they do is they start scouting you out. Do you have all the same stuff in your trailer? Or is it mixed? And if it's mixed, they watch you like a hawk. And I knew this was going to happen. It happens every time I go there, and it goes probably every time it goes there for you too. There are two different piles, and God forbid you end up in the wrong pile taking something out. It happens every time to me because I've got these trailers and I leave them open for everybody to put their stuff in them. I am so righteous that I'm willing to sort your stuff every time rather than putting a note on there, only leaves here, only to find out some branches get in there, and then I get mad about somebody putting branches in there. So you guys are all off the hook. I am taking the punishment for the sins of all of you. That's how righteous I am, right? So I'm heading over to the brush pile, and right before I left, Pam says, I really appreciate you doing this. I said, oh, this is no problem. I can do this. I got this. I got it. And she went on her merry way, and I'm doing penance because I came late, and she's sitting around waiting forever, knowing that I'm not the righteous person that seems like I am. Oh, no, I'll do it for you. No, but you're doing it late. So she says, oh, and I hope that one guy with the bandana isn't there. There's a guy who wears a bandana, no matter how hot it is, whether it's COVID or not. And I feel like it's because he's torturing everybody. He doesn't want to be known as to who he is, be recognized. And you always pull in there, if you've been there, you watch for this guy. Because he's like this Pharisee. He's this guy that keeps an eye on his piles. And if you screw with his piles and put one branch in leaves, or soft versus hard, he's going to be on you like white on rice. Like, I could go on and on with all of those little ditties. But, so I pull in, and there he is. There he is, and I can see everybody that's been there before. You can tell who's been there before because they're all like watching him. Even if they're innocent. They're watching the bandana man, and he's coming around, and he never says a word. Which is even worse. He comes over and grunts or something. You know, you don't even know if he's got a voice box, but you know he's righteous. And he's right. He's always right. So I encounter this man a lot, and I've never had a word spoken from him to me. This time he's busy on the other side of the yard. Righteous me, feeling pretty good about myself. And it's kind of like putting a pork chop around your neck to get the dog to play with you. It's like, I drive in there with my mixed stuff, and it's like, oh, come talk to me. Please talk to me. And so I back up, and I've got a lasagna. I've got a lasagna of mixed things, right? It's on the very top is grass and weeds, all the stuff that go into soft. And underneath that is a whole milieu of branches from some place and some from our yard. And then underneath that is more weeds. Underneath that little lens, stratification there, it's like the bottom of the ocean, just keeps settling. And so what I'm used to doing is I pull up to whatever's on the top and I throw that off. And then I put the tree branches off to one side, unless there's a formula that I gotta go by. And I try to be really good about it. A new guy comes walking over. He's a big guy. And I've never met him before, never saw him before. And he comes over and he shakes his head. I said, yeah, I know, it's mixed. And he says, can't do it. I said, yeah, I know. I don't even tell them about you guys. I don't even tell them about you sinners that just keep throwing junk in there in any way you want. And that I'm taking the beating for it. I'm not saying this is how good I am. I'm just going to let this ride for a little bit. And he says, you know, if you took time to sort that, it would be easier on you. And I said, yeah, I know. I play, you know me, I like to play with people. I said, I just can't get the hang of sorting. And he's just like scratching his head. You can't get there's hard stuff and there's soft stuff. And I said, yeah, I know, but every once in a while I just throw some soft stuff in there, and before I know it, I put hard stuff on there, and I just go back and forth. He's just like baffled. And he says, so you're going to have to move over to the other pile eventually. And I said, yeah, I have to do this every time because I'm so bad at it. It's been like 20 years I've been not sorting my stuff. And he says, God, how could you remember? And I'm walking away to drag some branches across, and he says, if I have time, I'll come and I can help you sort. And I said, well, that's really nice. And he says, but I got a lot of people here. I may not be back. And I took a chance. And so we've been talking about righteousness so far, right? And we can laugh about it, but it's real stuff. It's real stuff. Because this guy's got an accent. And it sounds like something Eastern European. It's sounding even Russian, I would say. And I'm thinking to myself, in this climate today, do I dare say, where are you from? As a white man with perfectly good, now, sorry mom, Minnesota accent. So it could be seen as a threat, right? So I thought, I'll let it go. And then I couldn't help myself. As he's walking away, and he's just kind of shaking his head at my stupidity. And he doesn't know the real story that I'm playing with him, and that I've got all these sinners that I'm helping. And I said to him, hey, where are you from? And he stopped, and you could tell in his body language that he wasn't quite sure what to do with it. And he stopped and he turned around, and he said, why? And I said, because Americans, we're from everywhere in the world, and I'm always curious, where are you from? And he says, I'm from Ukraine. And everything was stopped right there. It was just, I don't know any other question that could have stopped that conversation or that playfulness or that righteousness that we were both in. I'm feeling judged by him. He's feeling like I'm stupid and all these people I have to put up all these people. We all do it, right? And I said, Ukraine. And he says, yeah. I said, you saw a family there? And he says, yeah, my two sons, their wives, and my parents. And I walked over to him, and I threw my arms around him. He's a big guy from Ukraine. And I said, my friends in high school were from Ukraine. And I said, their hearts are broken. They're just destroyed. Their families are still in Ukraine. They've gone to visit. There's things not even left. And he starts bawling as I'm hugging him. And there was no righteousness anymore. There was no judgment. There was no wood goes there and soft stuff goes there. It matters in the small scheme of things. It really matters. Actually, in the big scheme of things, it matters that we work together and get things where they should go. It just goes better for all of us for our compost that we complain about when we get compost in the spring and it's got woody products in it. We're like, oh, they should sort that out. No, we are the ones that started it. It's like there's a reason for making decisions and saying that, you guys, it's going to get cold out. If you don't put a winter coat on when you walk to the bus, you're going to be cold. Natural consequences? Yeah, it'll happen. It will. But this poor guy, and I just started talking, and I said, it's so complicated. And I said, and it's so simple. I said, the Russian soldiers are your cousins? And he shakes his head, yeah, my son is married to a Russian woman. And they don't want to be fighting. They're just pressed into some crazy service, and it goes on all over the world, Hungary, here. And so I wasted an entire 45 minutes standing next to this guy until Bandana Man came by. Oh, no. Right? And Bandana Man cannot be shaken off his game. It's like, I don't know what language that guy speaks, what accent he has. I don't know if he's from Midway, if he's from, I don't know. He could be from Russia for all I know. but he's not giving up. All he did is he came over a couple different times and walked by and grunted a little bit and walked away, as if to say, keep working. What are you doing talking so much? And it didn't matter. So who's the loser in the story? Bandana Man. Bandana's the only loser in that story because he can't risk, number one, taking off that bandana or saying a word to anybody, but he doesn't have interactions that are truly human. He's seen by everybody that goes in that yard as Bandana Man, who's the rule keeper. Who wants to be known as that? Yeah, it was the best interaction I've had in a long time. And it could have gone very differently. He could have been very offended by my question. All kinds of things. But the human thing of risking it is what makes the difference. I wish I could do those more and more and more in my days. And I have to tell you that my playfulness in situations like that are what warm me up to breaking out of my choice. Because I'm in a hurry. If you've ever seen me, I'm late and I'm in a hurry. So I'm working really fast at making the choices so I can keep going in my day because I know Pam is waiting. And Edie's just watching. But if you can break that cycle of just nonchalantly, automatically choosing who's good, who's bad, who's right, who's wrong, what pile needs what, you just might have some kind of a human interaction that has nothing to do with a computerized automatic response. And you might be really surprised at what you thought was really happening there. Yeah. I'm glad for the interaction. It's Reformation. It's who's saved? All this language is saved. Jesus gave away the entire store. He opened up the doors, gave everything away to everybody, and it made everybody mad. The rich were mad, the poor were mad, the priests were mad, the Sadducees were, everybody was angry because they felt like they had a corner on the market. And he unlocks the doors, it gives everything away. So the tax collector is loved just as much as the Pharisee, who thought he was pretty good at keeping the weeds away from the sticks and comparing himself to all the people that mess it up. So that's the good news today. And that's, it's about grace and how we can give it to each other, how we can receive it and believe that we receive it, and how we can give it, right? So I'm looking forward to hearing this piece. So how about if we transition and you come up, but you have to come up to this microphone so everybody can hear you describe this piece, how you got it, why you got it, what compelled you to do it. And whew. All right, and I'll see.
So,
There
right
you go.
here?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. All right, well, I'll start with the story. I was wasting one afternoon wandering Facebook, like I say I'm never going to do. And I came across in one of my music teacher's feeds, someone was selling a book called Scenes of a Palestinian Childhood. And so I looked at it, and it was a collection of folk songs or pieces written by a Palestinian composer for children. I thought, well, that sounds interesting. So I went and explored it a bit, and I discovered this composer by the name of Mahmoud Abu Warda, who is from the Gaza Strip, Palestinian. And he was, I went to his website, and he is writing pieces and to raise money to help his parents and his sister get out of Gaza. He himself left in 2021 with his wife and daughters, and right now is in Istanbul. And so I started going a little bit deeper into that website, ordered the book for the children, and then I found a couple more advanced pieces. And one was called Dreams of a Quiet Sky, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. And this is what he wrote about this piece. He says, Dreams of a Quiet Sky is a deeply emotional piece that captures the tension, fear, and longing for peace experienced during times of conflict. The goal is to convey the fragile balance between sorrow and hope. Imagine the longing for a sky free of fear and the weight of worry in the hearts of those living under the constraints, under the constant threat of war. And through this piece, I hope to bring to life the dream of a quiet sky, a dream fragile yet powerful. And so I'll share this piece.
So announcements, anybody have announcements? This Wednesday night, we've probably got enough spaghetti to have leftovers of wonderful spaghetti and bread. We've got lots of great bread. The bread that was served came from John Marble's church. And they've got a program going there where you can't buy anything. You can give a donation if you want, but you can get your groceries there for free. And if you want to offer some, you can do that. And this guy makes bread every Monday night, 100 loaves. And he made these 20 especially for us to go with pasta. So it was lighter or whatever. I take their word for it because I can't eat it. But even the gluten-free was wonderful. But we've got a bag of this wonderful bread that's just going to go stale downstairs. Take it for free if you'd like it. We'll have bags, we'll have sauce, we'll have things. If you've got some money, pay. If you don't, take it. And it goes around. And thanks for all the hands once again that did all the work. It takes so many people and so many new people that we're helping. Yeah, and from what I understand, a miracle happened last night, and I don't know how many people are aware. There were no fuses blown.
What?
There was a cord that went bad, but not one fuse was blown. So you can, and if you know differently, tell me later. It was beautiful. So we'll go downstairs. Karen and I and Nicholas are going to jump in the car, and we're going to drive to Chicago after church today to visit Mom, Eileen, right there. Just give us your image. Just put yourself up there, Mom.
Stop taunting her.
Yeah, she's not even listening. All she's doing is watching. She's just in love with her son. I just watch it. How'd you like my sermon? What sermon? In some ways, isn't that the way it's supposed to be with kids and parents? Well, we're going to go together and see them. Yeah.
A reminder of the book study, and I can't remember the day though. It's November.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, and it's Faith After Doubt.
Okay.
If you want a copy of the book, let me know. I'll get it for you.
Okay. That's great. Yeah. Faith After Doubt.
And what Dave just said about maturing,
Yeah. Time to grow up.
maturing in your faith.
Yeah. Pam.
Okay, this has nothing to do with religion. If you like ghost stories, in Shakopee at the Badger Hill Brewery, we're going to be telling ghost stories at 7 with some of the Twin Cities' best storytellers. And I'm not including myself in that. We have 5 amazing other storytellers which have done things like Win the Moth and things like that, where
That's
I have
great.
not done that. So.
Yeah. That's fabulous. Oh yeah, it's working. Anybody else? All right. We sold one more car yesterday, Bernardo's car, and it was the hardest car I've ever sold. We fixed it up, got the tank working and a pump, so thanks for donating that to us. We've got 2 more coming, so we'll keep working at them. And if you see Earl, thank him for his help on those, and a little worried about him. Didn't see him yesterday. I called him, so. All right. Well, we have a funeral on November 8th for Zsolt Vinci, my Hungarian friend. A lot of Hungarians were here yesterday. They were undercover, scoping out the place for the funeral, and the Hungarian club was downstairs looking at the kitchen, and so they were undercover. And they loved this place. And they were here 20 years ago, used it a number of times, and then forgot. What a wonderful building. So they'll be back around. But November 8th, a Saturday, we'll come together and celebrate Zsolt's life. So you'll hear more about that in a couple weeks. All right, let's do ascending. And come on down if you're able. The family will be back on Wednesday. We'll come back Wednesday morning. So. God be our homecoming and strength. God be our hope and support. God be our light and our way. And the blessing of God, Creator, Redeemer, and Giver of life, remain with you now and forever. Amen.